Her daughter died at a licensed daycare after it was repeatedly cited for serious violations.
She was left completely unsupervised and unattended.
Tonight at 11, how a law meant to protect California's children failed.
It's in the statute. It couldn't be clearer.
She had a short time on this earth, and I'm starting to believe that she had a purpose.
Well, it's a dilemma for a lot of working parents. How to pick a daycare provider they can trust. Only on 5 tonight, Julie Watts discovered a state license is no guarantee your child will be safe.
I swear it still smells like her.
The smell of a baby blanket brings some comfort to Jennifer Ailes. It's been almost 4 years since she lost her 1-year-old daughter, Paige.
I got a phone call from Pam saying that there had been an accident.
It happened at Paige's in-home daycare.
My heart just dropped. I was thinking maybe she cut herself or she fell.
At the hospital, she discovered the worst. Her baby was dead. But it would be months before she and her partner Finn would learn why. According to the coroner's report, the toddler died of mechanical asphyxia, restrained in an infant car seat inside the daycare, a violation of state law, and left unattended for 30 to 40 minutes while she struggled to breathe. Neglect is defined by the state. And it turns out the state-licensed daycare was repeatedly cited in the months leading up to Paige's death. Type A citations, the most serious kind, ranging from overcapacity to unsanitary and hazardous conditions. And yes, neglect.
If I would have read that report that she wrote that day,
One of the citations, just a month before she died, involved Paige.
A licensing evaluator specifically observed her, Paige Luger, placing plastic Easter egg halves into her mouth for a period of 5 minutes while she was left completely unsupervised and unattended.
Maurice is suing the state on the family's behalf. He says not only did the state inspector fail to notify Paige's parents of the serious citation or use the agency's authority to immediately shut the facility down, but the inspector didn't report the violations to the county welfare agency or local law enforcement as required by the child abuse and neglect reporting law.
Instead of reporting as she should have, she documented her file. She handed the licensee, the owner of the facility, something she requested she post, and then she moved on to her next job.
In fact, the lead local sergeant testified if she had reported the violations, he would have shut the facility down before Paige died.
Correct?
Yes.
Officials at this regional licensing office denied our request for an interview, but in a phone call, a spokesperson told us that inspectors are not required to report neglect or abuse at a daycare facility to local authorities unless the daycare provider is neglecting or abusing their own child. Even though the state's own training manual states neglect must be reported if the perpetrator is a person responsible for the child's welfare.
It's in the statute. It couldn't be clearer.
Social worker Lucy Marquardt says the law is there for a purpose.
It is supposed to trigger sharing of information among the agencies that are out there to protect children.
But apparently that's not how daycare inspectors in California are trained. In this video deposition, the state inspector for Paige's daycare explains
They didn't investigate it. We investigated them, so we didn't report them to CPS.
In other words, it was futile to report to them?
No, it was just more of how the agencies worked.
So with no one claiming responsibility for Paige's death, her parents hope it'll be a wake-up call that oversight is needed.
I'm hoping that there's an awareness. You know, she had a short time on this earth, and I'm starting to believe that she had a purpose.
Now, the state is not required to notify parents about citations involving their children, but the reports are posted online. In the newsroom, Julie Watts, KPIX 5.
Now, Julie says the day after Paige's death, the daycare shut down and the provider disappeared.